I think if there was one way like to describe it, then it would be, it is time lost, because I came here when I was 23 years old. I came here in August 2019, and it was the first time that I had been abroad for a long time. I have done summer programs and stuff elsewhere, but I came here for a master's to the Netherlands, and I came here in August 2019, and December 2019 onwards, we really started seeing the spread, and Italy was really bad. So our classes immediately became online. Not even a full semester of education for us on campus. Social life suffered badly. For me personally, I also wasn't able to go back home because I just simply couldn't afford it, because even when the Indian embassy sent flights, the tickets were very expensive because there were a lot of people. And also, when you went back home, you had to quarantine in a hotel for 14 days. So either you choose a very bad quality hotel where you will probably get like food poisoning, if not corona, or you just pay exorbitant amount of money with no guarantee about when you will come back, to be honest. So yeah, and for me, this quarantine had to happen in two places. So because there's no direct flight to my hometown, so I would have to quarantine first in Delhi, and then when I take the train, I have to quarantine again. So that's 1 month of quarantine, essentially. So I did not go home for 2.5 years. I only went this year in February. So it was just lonely, really, because we didn't get the chance to make many friends, and we couldn't go home. I actually got a ticket for a concert that I really wanted to go to, and I only went for it on the 1st of May, over 2 years later. So, and so many other things got cancelled. There was nothing. Even during the summers, you could only just go out for a walk and do nothing socially. There was no events from the university. When they were happening on Zoom. So there was Zoom fatigue because you do classes on Zoom, and then you also engage with other people who you don't know so well on Zoom. So then if you know someone, if it's your family, and then it makes sense maybe to sometimes do it, but if you don't know people, then it's just awkward. So yeah, socially, it was it was really bad. And just yesterday I was discussing it with a friend, and it does feel like time lost. I will not be 23 again. I'm already 26 now. And in the last 2.5 years, because I could not go home, I also suffered a breakup. And then there was no dating because there was no social anything. So yeah, it just feels odd. It's taken things away from us for sure. Yeah, yeah. Oh, it was so good. I missed it. I missed the whole, just the feeling of being together, like in a room with 1,000 people and just screaming the songs. It's just, yeah, it was worth the wait. I would have preferred to not wait, but then now that I had to, it was still great. And yeah, I can only hope that it continues, because I want to make up for the lost time. I also am on, like, I always say this, I love traveling. Even in India, I used to travel a lot all the time. But when I got on arguably the most well-connected continent in the world, I just haven't been around as much as I would like to. So yeah, there's a lot to be done, but yeah, what's gone is gone. So I kind of like went through a phase of like high anxiety with regards to health, and then depression, because like, not depression but social slump. So like, because you're not meeting anyone, you're just alone in your, and then you kind of get into it and you don't want to see people, just generally bad mood. So yeah, I was then I went through a breakup, and obviously now that the world's opened up, I have met people, I have started meeting people, but because I'm only now interacting with the people here as an international, it also takes time to sort of adjust to, the multicultural crowd here. So yeah, I I think it's going to be a long while before I actually find someone and feel comfortable around them. One of the most difficult things was that two of my uncles passed during COVID in the second wave, and I couldn't go. And I was very close to them, and they're just like gone. Yeah, and I don't want to talk more about it, but I feel like for a lot of expats in general, they lost family members and just couldn't be there, which is sort of always like a regret, a big regret. So I think that was the hardest thing. Obviously, I would have loved to see my family more frequently. Yeah, because a lot changed when I went back home after 2.5 years. It was almost felt like an outsider looking in, because they've settled in their lives without me for so long now. But other than that, I think just always this feeling of missing out on what's happening, what could be, because it's you're in your early 20s, and then B, you're in a place where you're supposed to have fun. And I've also like worked very hard to come here. It's not easy to get admission, yeah, when you're coming from like a background as mine. So I felt like, oh, finally now I'm here, and everything stopped. Even the education that I was getting, I mean, it was great as compared to what I'd had before, but obviously it could have been better if there was no corona. So yeah, just I think I felt a little bit of resentment towards I don't know, the universe, for just yeah. What helped me? I feel like, so while I was not able to make many friends, I did make two very good friends. And one of them actually lived in the same building that I did. So we would just meet up in the evenings, go for a walk by the river, do crosswords. And she was also an international student from the United States. And we would just on Friday we would get pizza and watch movies and just kind of make do with whatever we had, because she also was missing out on the same time as I was. And just talking, and I think when you when you have just one friend, you're also more focused in getting to know them. So I would say that despite it being a socially distant and physically distant affair, despite all the social difficulties, it was actually people who made it bearable. So even if you find like one person, that sometimes is enough. And the second thing was that I always wanted to experiment with my hair, and during COVID, I shaved my head from very long hair. I had very long hair, and now it is yeah, I'm still, and then I colored it multiple times as it was growing. So, and it's still an ongoing experiment. So it was kind of fun. I don't think I would have done it if yeah, if there were regular classes and stuff. It's so I don't know how well you can see, but this was my hair when I got here. Then it kept getting shorter, and I shaved it completely during COVID.
Oh my God, that's radical. Yes, that's a very radical
Yes.
transformation. Wow. Can we?
Then it, yeah, then it grew a little bit. Then I colored it red, then pink even, and
Wow.
now it's like
So you did
so.
find a hobby.
A lot of people that I know experimented with their looks. So that was fun. I've always had long hair, so I never thought it would be this short, but yeah, I just shaved it all. So that was fun. I think for me, we have to understand that things won't be the same, because as Corona was happening, there were also a lot of other things that were happening and are still happening. So I would say just taking it slow, and really being understanding of each other. And if you get in an awkward conversation, probably try to understand that people really haven't been around each other. Especially like with internationals, there can be cultural miscommunication because we've only gotten to know each other over Zoom mostly, and then when you meet in person, it's just a different thing. So yeah, just being patient. I would say that that is the only way to get back to normal, if there is a normal. But patience is the key, and really understanding where the other person's coming from. And also, yes, maybe letting it loose a little. I would want to have more fun, because I feel like I have lost time. So
Yeah.
yeah, I would probably say yes to more things.